Think of an AI chip like a Formula One race car. Costing $40,000 a unit, it's a highly tuned machine built for pure speed. We hear a lot about the companies that design these machines. Firms like Nvidia get the headlines for drawing up the blueprints. But a brilliant design does not win a race by itself. A hypercar needs flawless physical components and rigorous safety checks before it ever hits the track. This physical manufacturing network is known as the AI value chain. You can think of them as the hidden pit crew of the technology world. They are the specialized manufacturers and engineers who actually build, test, and assemble the parts so the AI boom can exist in reality. Today, we are going to look closely at two specific members of this crew: Aehr Test Systems, which acts as an extreme test track, and Micron, the company manufacturing the premium racing tires. Because these parts are so expensive and in such high demand, the financial stakes are massive. Some of the highest rewards and the wildest stock market dramas are happening right now, deep inside this hidden ecosystem. Let's start with how companies normally test their hardware for safety. The industry standard is fairly straightforward. Manufacturers pull a single chip from a large batch and put it in a high-heat oven to see if it breaks. If that one sample survives the heat, they assume the rest of the batch is safe to sell. But if that physical sample fails the physical test, the entire batch gets rejected. That means facing massive manufacturing delays. That old method worked for standard electronics, but AI chips are entirely different. They are expensive, and companies are in a massive rush to get them out the door. Relying on a single sample to guarantee a whole batch is now an enormous financial risk. To solve this, companies are moving towards stress testing every single chip at once. This process, known as wafer-level burn-in, is like putting an entire fleet of cars through a stress test simultaneously before a single one is allowed to leave the factory. This brings us to Aehr Test Systems. They are the primary company that actually builds these massive, highly specialized testing ovens. Recently, a piece of news sent ripples through the market. Aehr CEO slipped that two tech giants are secretly evaluating this exact test-every-chip method for their highly priced AI hardware. The financial reaction to this rumor was intense. Aehr transformed from an ignored equipment manufacturer into a highly volatile, high-risk, high-reward target for stock traders. When a single failed batch costs a company millions, these test systems become the ultimate gatekeeper. Because Aehr's ovens are the only way to safely greenlight these projects, their production schedule effectively dictates how fast the entire global AI race moves. Testing is only one part of the equation. We also have to look at performance. In AI hardware, that engine requires incredibly fast memory, or what engineers call HBM, to process massive amounts of data without slowing down. Think of HBM like an ultra-premium racing tire. It prevents spinning wheels, allowing the AI to grip the data and achieve top speed. There are only a few companies that can manufacture these premium tires. One of the leaders is Micron. Their biggest rival in this specific memory market is Samsung. This chart shows the current state of their rivalry. Recently, Samsung mass-produced a mountain of these memory chips, but they repeatedly failed strict quality inspections. As a result, Samsung was forced into a corner. They had to take a massive financial write-off, essentially declaring this huge stockpile of premium memory as completely useless garbage. Now we look at how this impacts Micron's stock. If Samsung tweaks those defective chips to meet standards, they will flood the market. In that scenario, Micron's stock could crash down to around a $90 valuation. But if Samsung's inventory remains permanently broken, the dynamic flips entirely. Micron would effectively hold a monopoly on the racetrack. In that scenario, their stock could rocket upward, potentially reaching a $160 valuation. In the ruthless race to build AI hardware, billions of dollars in stock market value hinge entirely on whether one competitor's garbage pile can be recycled. When we zoom out to look at the entire AI landscape, it becomes clear that this value chain is a strictly interdependent ecosystem. Every piece relies heavily on the others. The most brilliant chip design in the world is essentially a very expensive paperweight without the premium memory required to run it, and the extreme testing required to ensure it survives. If you are looking at this market from an investment perspective, it pays to look past the obvious, consumer-facing tech giants. By focusing specifically on these hidden pit crew companies, you uncover some of the most volatile and potentially lucrative stories in the modern stock market. The next time you generate an AI response, picture the invisible pit crew working flawlessly behind the scenes to make it happen. The physical reality of the hardware, the ovens and the memory, is what's actually moving the needle for the entire AI revolution.